Okay, let's talk about this. This is the Gtemp15. It's a temperature controller I built to manage the temperature in my Bradley base model smoker. That smoker has no thermostat, no way of managing the temperature. You just turn the dial and that much heat goes into the smoker, but it doesn't monitor the temperature or anything. So I built this that monitors the temperature and turns the knob up and down. It doesn't actually use the knob, it does it itself. We bypass the knob completely. But anyway, I'll just tell you a little bit about this. These are the power connectors for this. So the upper one is the input from your outlet. That's your 110 volts coming in. And this is your 110 volts coming out after it's processed by the pit in here. So this goes to the smoker. This goes to your house, your extension cord, your generator, whatever you like. On the back here, there is on-off switch. Next to that, there's a 15 amp circuit breaker, and that's why there's the 15 in the name. And then this is the connection for the thermocouple. This goes into the smoker, and that's how this Gtemp knows the temperature inside and can control it. On the bottom, there is a cooling intake fan. So the Gtemp draws air from underneath, blows it through the middle, through there, and out through these holes. Right behind here is a big heat sink on a solid state relay. So the cool air blows across that, keeping that nice and comfy cool. The other thing on the bottom is this here, which is the audible high temperature alarm. So when the high temperature is triggered, this is set off. It could also be so for low temperature too, but I've got it configured to heat my smoker, so I have it configured for high temperature. So the front panel here has two displays. This one on this side is an Inkbird PID. It's a bird that does the actual calculations of when to turn the heat on and off. On the top line in red is your temperature. So it's the temperature inside the smoker. And the second line in green is the temperature you want it to be at. If you press this little button here, it changes the temperature that you set to keep to, and it shows you the duty cycle of the Inkbird. So how often the heat it's calling for heat and for how long. So that's pretty much all that there is on this, on the PID. Next to it are two LEDs. The bottom LED is amber colored. It comes on when the PID calls for power to go to the smoker. So when it gets too cold, the PID says heat it up. It will turn the power on, and there'll be a little red LED here that lights up. This LED also lights up, but this is looking right here where the power comes out. So the PID is saying, you know, send power. This amber one says, yeah, it's actually getting out. In case something, I mean, it would always be getting out unless something broke, and that's possible because I built this, so it's not going to break. The light above it is another LED. It's red. That's the high temperature LED. So that only comes on when the high temperature alert is triggered. So another thing that has, I already mentioned that this audible alarm comes on with a high temperature. This red light comes on. The Inkbird will show high temperature alarm, and the power will be cut here to the smoker. So as long as the high temperature is sensed by the Inkbird, no power will go to the smoker. This is the power panel. It displays information about current and your line coming in. So the top line is the watts, so that's the power being used right now. Below that is kilowatt hours, and the kilowatt hours you can reset to 0. So if you want to know how much you're actually using in electricity to do a particular smoke job or whatever job, you can reset that to 0, and then it will accumulate. Now it's nice that it doesn't always reset, because let's say you wanted to know how much you spent all summer or all year, you know, you could just leave it, not reset it, and then you'd know if you really need to know that. You might want to know how much electricity you spent when you're calculating the price you're going to charge people for the things you smoked. the next line on there, it shows the voltage and the frequency. So that's your incoming voltage and frequency. And then below that is your amperage. So that's the power currently being used by both the Gtemp and the smoker. So you'll see when the PID here shuts off the power to the smoker, you'll see your amperage go down to, for this one it goes down to 0.03 amps. And when it's actually running the smoker, the total is about 4.7 amps. Also the watts will change, and actually the voltage and frequency changes, but they stay pretty constant. So those are all the things that you can do. So I mean, to hook this up, you plug this into the smoker, plug this into your outlet, this into the power in the smoker, set the temperature, and let it go. It will keep the temperature within a couple of degrees. I have it tuned for my smoker. When you use a PID, you have to tune it for whatever device you're connecting it to. So for my smoker, it actually runs plus or minus 3 degrees usually when I'm smoking something. And this can run for hours. I ran it for 20 hours once last weekend to do a brisket. So there's no problem with it being able to keep up with what it needs to do. Every time I checked, the temperature was within a couple of degrees of what I had set it at, which was 225. Should have been 250, but you know, we make mistakes sometimes. So it was within a couple of degrees. So that's plenty good enough. And that's all there is to it. It's pretty simple. If you're interested in building yourself one, let me know and I can probably help you out with it, since I did this one all from scratch. So I kind of know what I'm doing, I think. And then you can have fun, and you don't have to sit with your smoker all day, right? Because the Bradley, with no feedback on the temperature, you have to keep adjusting that knob up and down every 20 minutes or so. You got to check it and adjust the knob. With this, I can leave. I can go away for the day and come back and the smoke job's done, because nothing's going to happen with this. So anyway, make yourself one, enjoy your smoking, and have a good day. Thanks.